Yo, so break week time, but look, this video isn't just coming out of my ass, okay? This is a continuation video from some shit I made a few months ago now or so, maybe like a year, 6 months or some shit, I don't know. My concept of time is just completely fucked now, but I made a video ranking all the post-Timeskip arcs, and I feel like it's only right to do it for the pre-Timeskip ones because I think for like 75-80% of people, pre is superior to post, okay? But without wasting any more time, let's just get into this shit. So in this, I'm going to be grouping especially the early arcs into sagas. Like, for example, Alabasta is going to be like, Whiskey Peak to Alabasta. So that includes Drum Island and Little Garden and shit. So it's going to be like that. So I'm not going to be including specific shit like Syrup Village, for example. But anyway, let's go. So the worst arc in pre-Timeskip, in my opinion, is Thriller Bark. But look, it even though it's last on this list, that doesn't mean it's bad. I just personally didn't have a very fun experience watching Thriller Bark. But look, if we look at the grand scheme of things, okay, this arc was sandwiched in between two of the fucking peaks of One Piece. And comparatively, I don't think it really delivered, if I'm being honest. At least like 70% of it did. Thriller Bark had some extremely high highs and some pretty shitty lows, but it just kind of fucked up the whole rhythm that Oda had going on. Clearly, it didn't faze him seeing what happened right after Thriller Bark, but it's a little bump in the road. I don't think anybody goes into Thriller Bark after Enies Lobby and is like, yay, here we go, this is so much fun. I mean, it's just not as good as Enies Lobby, and it's not as good as Sabaody. It's just not a super fun experience. It's a fun arc, but it's not good. So next up, we got the whole East Blue saga. So from the beginning of the story to Logtown. And this wasn't the most eventful saga or arc, but it's very fucking nostalgic and it has some nutty ass moments. Everybody loves Arlong Park. You'll be hard pressed to find a person who hates that shit. I love it. But it also has its lows. Look, I love Usopp, okay? I'm a big Usopp stan. But Syrup Village fucking blows. Let's just keep it a buck here. Just pretty solid little time in One Piece, though. But definitely not the best. But it's a pretty solid start to the show. All right, next up, we got the Skypiea saga. So this is Jaya and the Skypiea arc, obviously. So Skypiea to me wasn't even half as bad as people say it is. But it was pretty drawn out, let's just admit it. And now, looking back, there was a lot of pretty insane foreshadowing shit in it to, year 5. But Enel is a pretty great fucking villain, too, with one of the most insane powers in One Piece. Jesus Christ, that shit went fucking crazy. And Jaya was pretty good, too. We meet Blackbeard for the first time, who is, he's a pretty big deal in this One Piece. It's where we first see the silhouette of Blackbeard, too, I believe. There's some pretty good shit in Skypiea. So next up, we got Alabasta. So Alabasta, I think, didn't have quite the highs that, like, Arlong Park, for example, had. But I'd say it was definitely more consistent. I am a big fucking fan of Drum Island and Little Garden. I don't know why, but I love those arcs. They just got a certain vibe to them that I just fuck with. I don't know, that shit just goes hard. I also love the Drum Island fit. It won the award, or no, it didn't. It was like top 3 for Luffy fits. The little plaid jacket, it just goes hard. I'd rock that shit in real life. Whiskey Peak, it's pretty ass, and Alabasta, it's pretty good. But we get introduced to Ace. Crocodile is one of the best villains in One Piece, probably. You need a solid villain in an arc, or it's not going to be at the top. That's just how that shit is. Now, Alabasta, it was drawn out a bit more than it should have, okay? But this is One Piece we're talking about now. Like, come on. Pretty much every arc is drawn out to some extent. But next is where we get into the pretty good shit. The shit that I hold very dearly to my heart. And it's also where I'm going to be naming specific arcs, okay? So, next up, we got Amazon Lily. And Amazon Lily is very much a transitional arc. It's a transitional period. It's just preparing to go to Impel Down to get Ace, pretty much. But it still does its job extremely well. It maintains that tension that we, got from Sabaody. And it's the first time in forever we see Luffy completely alone. I like Amazon Lily a lot, and I think the shit is very much underrated. It's a very fun, little short arc, and I think it did its job very well. Okay, next up, we got Impelled Down. Impelled Down has grown on me in the past couple years, probably. But Impelled Down was just a big-ass family reunion done in a very urgent-ass setting. We got to get Ace, okay? Before it's time for him to get executed, okay? That's a pretty big deal. Tensions are high. But we run into a bunch of the little bad guys that we beat up before, back in the day. And they come along to help us along the way because they want to get out of fucking jail. I think, in the grand scheme of things, Impelled Down was very fucking instrumental to the future of One Piece because things like Cross Guild wouldn't exist. Crocodile would probably just be rotting away, locked up at the bottom of Impel Down. So would Jinbei. Even fucking Buggy probably wouldn't be around right now. He's a fucking Yonko. So it played a very big-ass part in how the world is now. Also, Bonchan is in this arc too, so how could you not love it? I forgot to mention that about Alabasta. That shit has Bonchan too, but he wasn't he wasn't as cool as he is in Impel Down. He didn't steal my heart away like he did in Impel Down. Now, next up, this is probably where my little hot takes start coming in. But a lot of people have this arc as their number one of all time. But I got Enies Lobby, okay? Everybody knows what's good about Enies Lobby, so let me just tell you why I have it here and not like number 1 or 2. So, to me personally, I didn't love the beginning of Enies Lobby, like beating up all the fucking grunts or whatever. I didn't love like Kaku as a villain, sorta. I mean, I kind of liked him in Water 7, but the giraffe fruit just kind of fucking sucks. Like, we saw him eating it and everything. We're like, ooh, what's this shit gonna be? It's a fucking giraffe. Like, that's just so disappointing. But that's about where the bad things end. So this is probably the only One Piece arc where it felt like each and every Straw Hat felt like they were getting all the love in the world. Like, they were all playing a valuable role in accomplishing the final goal. Like, everybody was getting their love, everybody was getting their shine in this fucking arc. We got Monster Chopper, we got Diablo Jump, we got Ashura, we got Gear 2 and 3. Even fucking Usopp got his little slingshot. He got a new one. He got Kabuto. This arc was, without a doubt, the best arc for the Straw Hats. No question about it. But next up, we got Water 7, Enies Lobby's predecessor. So, a thing happened in this arc that doesn't happen in any other arc in One Piece, and that is genuine beef inside of the crew. And I'm not talking about the little Sanji whole cake shit. This arc is the reason that Usopp has fans at all. He hasn't done anything to deserve having fans, but he did in this arc. I feel like the beginning of Water 7 was done fucking perfectly. It was just the insane dopamine hit you get when you enter a new arc in a completely new city and you just fuck around. You see Luffy fucking causing mayhem and shit. It never hit like it did in Water 7 ever again. Not in Wano, not in Egghead. Nowhere does it like Water 7 did. I don't know why, but it's just very, very, very memorable to me. But the Usopp versus Luffy thing was just fucking done beautifully. And we'll probably never see anything like this for the rest of the story. Usopp and Luffy both have this legitimate argument. Like, they both have sides to it that both make sense. And I feel like it's just, Jesus Christ. I could go on and on about how fucking beautiful that shit is. But let's just move on, because this video will never end. So, if you know me, you already knew what number 1 was before this video even fucking started. So, number 2 shouldn't be a huge surprise to you, but it's Marineford. Okay, so before you swap my fucking grandmother's house or some shit, let me explain. There is absolutely nothing wrong with Marineford. I can't really name a single bad thing about it. It's pretty goddamn close to perfect. The only flaw I can really think of is the fact that there's zero strategy used in any of it, but that's just kind of how One Piece fights are. We see so many insane endgame level fucking devil fruits and shit. Everybody loves Whitebeard. You know what's good about Marineford. I don't have to name it all off. But, okay. Here we go. So, number 1. I've already made a video on this before, but it's Sabaody. So, in my opinion, Sabaody is the best fucking arc in One Piece, and I think Marineford and Egghead are definitely giving it a good run for its money. But I think in my heart, Sabaody will always be the GOAT. It's what made me fall in love with One Piece in the first place. Obviously, Water 7 and Enies Lobby definitely did a good fucking job. But Sabaody cemented it as the GOAT. So we arrive at Sabaody with the whole idea of just stopping here to get our ship coated and go to Fishman Island. But obviously, that isn't how it went. We actually see the celestial dragons that we've heard about, the endgame villains, and we see how dog shit they truly are. It just completely changed my perception of One Piece. They were buying slaves and shit. It's awful. It completely changed the tone of everything going on in the world for me. And we find out that a Roger pirate is still alive. And my favorite part, Luffy punches the shit out of a fucking celestial dragon. My dear St. Carlos, my boy, my beloved. That moment right there, in my opinion, is the peak of One Piece. That moment solidified that these motherfuckers are the final villain. Not the Yonko. This is more than just a pirate show. There's more shit going on. It's deeper than that. Then, of course, we see Kizaru's nutty-ass powers. And, of course, Luffy loses fucking badly. And I absolutely love when main characters lose. It makes them feel more relatable because no matter who you are, you don't just fucking win every time. Everybody's a loser. There's a little copium there, but whatever. This was a massive Luffy L, which is also why I love Marineford as well. Like, Luffy took a fat ass L there with Ace, and I love it when arcs end in Luffy L's. All of my favorites end in them, except for probably Egghead, but whatever. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know what your rankings are and why mine are wrong in the comments. But